like you're in a bath and they go straight back up to the top. In fact, it's really hard to try and keep them down on top. You just float on the top. You're weightless. Can't live.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Skip, aka Skip and Tosh here of the Sacktown Breakdown. Back with another one, man. We got to break down another Kings game. Didn't turn out in the Sacramento Kings' favor, but that's okay. That's okay. We're getting there. There's still a lot of positives to take away from this game, so I wanted to come down and break it for you. Of course, this is your man Skip, aka Skip and Tosh again here of the Sacktown Breakdown. For everybody that is new here, welcome to Sacktown, where we break things down in a way that only we can. It's a very unique take and a unique flavor, and I'm glad that you're here to experience it. For everybody that's been here before, we appreciate you coming back and joining us. We took last year off, but this year we're back. Exciting new additions to the Sacramento Kings. Reasons to be optimistic for one way or another. Either way, we're going to be breaking down these Sacramento Kings and talking about them. In this particular game, it was the Sacramento Kings versus the Utah Jazz. Game ended with a score of 110 for the Utah Jazz, 101 for the Sacramento Kings. But like I said, a lot of positives to take away from this game. So why don't we just get right into it and start breaking things down. So right off top, first quarter, Jazz got 24. Kings scored 26. Started off positively. I won't say strong, but good. Second quarter, we ended with 26 points. Jazz with 22. I do want to say that the tide started to change a little bit in that time. If you were watching the game, you definitely noticed that. But the third quarter woes began. We came back in, scored 28. They scored 35. And to end the game, they scored 29. We scored 21. And that right there, that alone, is what put the nail in the coffin. Our lowest scoring quarter is really what did us in. And there were some other things that contributed to that. We'll break that down. But as we take a look at the game leaders, we got Daveon Mitchell with 27 points, Harrison Barnes with 25 points, Rudy Gobert with 20 rebounds. But damn, Harrison Barnes with 15. Daveon Mitchell with 4 6. Mr. Reese, Tyrese Halliburton with 6 assists. Royce O'Neal with 4 steals. De'Aaron Fox with 5. I didn't realize Fox got that many steals. My gosh. You can take a look at the odds and the money line for all of you bettors out there. That's not something that I am into quite yet, nor should I be with the Sacramento Kings. I'll leave it there. We could take a look at the win probability, and it's interesting that you see that there is, especially around this time, like for some time, never mind halftime, where the Sacramento Kings were in position to win the game. But like I said, that second half, especially the last few minutes of the closing of the third quarter, and then like the last 7 minutes, maybe even 8 minutes of the fourth quarter, you could just see things started to go really, really bad. And the Jazz, who are a better team, ended up closing it out. Finally, let's take a look at the team comparisons. Hey, we didn't do too bad. Didn't do too great, but 39% from the field, almost 40%. While they were a little more efficient, 41, they made a few less shots, but on 9 less attempts. Three-pointers, we shot terribly this game, 22%, and they shot a little above average, 38.1%. That's all you need. Free throws, again, we didn't do great. We did okay, but really that's not good. 71% from the line, 15 to 21. They shot 20 of 23, so 87% from the line. Rudy Gobert got a new free throw shot where he got like some top spin on it, put like a little English on it, and he's netting that thing. I applaud him for that, because some people like Ben Simmons don't work on their shot. So props to Rudy Gobert, who used to be like targeted, on the hack a Gobert type thing years ago, and now he's knocking down his free throws and making himself a threat. And I think, after you go through something like what he went through in the playoffs last year, he was inspired to work on some parts of his game for that to be a non-factor when he comes back in this season. So at the very least, he's like, hey, I'm probably, if they pull me out of the paint, I'm just going to have to be a perimeter player, and that's going to be tough for me because I get spun around. But at least let me be more of an asset to my team and knocking down my free throws so people can't pick on me at the end of the games. Good job. That's dedication, Rudy Gobert. Anyway, we had 20 assists. They had 16. We had 52 rebounds. They had 51. We are doing better on the glass. I noticed that in the first 2 games. Offensive rebounds, we had 16. They had 13. We're going to talk about those offensive rebounds. Steals, they had 15. We have 14. Blocks, we have 5. They had 3 turnovers. We have 15. They had 17. We're going to talk about that too. They had 2 more turnovers, and we lost by 9 points. So we're going to talk about that as well. That's pretty much that for that side. Let's go ahead and jump on over and let's take a look at the stats. Again, Daveon Mitchell, 37 minutes. He had 27 points. He was 6 of 14 from 3. Biggest thing I wanted to point out. Mike Conley, 31 minutes, 17 points. He was 3 of 6 from 3. Rudy Gobert, 15 minutes, 17 points, along with his 20 rebounds. And, he was over 50% from the field. Bojan Bogdanovic, 33 minutes, 13 points. He was one of the players that he still had a little bit of an impact, but nerfing him kept us in the game. Royce O'Neal as well did not have a fantastic game, but still made an impact. He had 8 points, and that's most of that. But Jordan Clarkson, 23 minutes. He had 15 points. We're going to talk about Jay Clark too, because that guy, he was something else last night. Our old teammate, Hassan Whiteside, 15 minutes, 8 points. Talk about him as well. Eric Pascal, formerly of the Warriors, 14 minutes, 3 points. And Joe Ingles, who only played 5 minutes, but Joe Ingles got ejected. And we're going to talk about Joe Ingles' ejection here in a second as well. Let's talk about the Sacramento Kings. Again, Harrison Barnes in 37 minutes had 25 points, 9 of 20 from the field. He's almost 50% from the field. 2 of 6 from 3. If there was just one that if he didn't chuck up would have been nicer, but hey, still, I mean, like, what's that, 33%? Better than the majority of everybody else that shot and had 15 rebounds. Tyrese Halliburton, 7 of 12 from the field. We're going to talk about Reese. 6 assists. Fox, I didn't realize that Fox only had 12 points the entire game. He was 5 of 19 and 0 of 5 from 3. We're going to talk about that too here in just a second. And so Terence Davis started, and that was interesting to see Terence Davis out there in the starting lineup. Nice little mix-up, little shake-up. Mostly because Mo Harkless was not able to play, so this was the shift in the lineup that Luke Walton had made it. Maurice Harkless took a little bump, and he's just a little sore. He's all right, but wanted to rest him for this game. Definitely going to need him on the road coming up soon. And Buddy Hill, 26 minutes, 24 points, 9 of 21 from the field, 6 of 15 from 3. Buddy buckets, and he had 7 rebounds. Man, Buddy was active. Alex Len, in 22 minutes, he had 8 points, 4 rebounds. Daveon Mitchell. I didn't realize Daveon only had 3 points the entire game. And, it was from that and one. Or actually, no, not from that and one. It was from a technical, and then he got to shoot as well. Some free throws. But he had 4 assists. Bagley made a season debut, 10 minutes, 2 points, 4 rebounds. And Tristan Thompson got in there for 4 minutes and gave us a pair of rebounds as well. Again, Mo Harkless did not play, injury, illness, and that was because of that hard fall that he took in the previous game against the Blazers. Let's say, man, my memory's going. We might be coming back to these stats, but we're going to. So let's talk about a few things real quick. Okay, just wanted to make sure I could hear the music. It was so. First thing we'll talk about is Bojan Bogdanovic. Bojan Bogdanovic got ejected from the game. Or excuse me, not Bojan Bogdanovic. Joe Ingles. I swear, they're not the same person. But on the Jazz, I would confuse them all. Well, not confuse them, but think of them as like the same person, like same archetype. Except Joe Ingles just comes off the bench. Daveon Mitchell. Got a steal, or we got a steal. Daveon Mitchell caught a pass and was gone, like just home free, out on the fast break. And he's a speedy little guy. Joe Ingles was going to try to, play in the middle to see if he's going to pass it or try to cut him off at the rim. Daveon took off on a dunk attempt. And I don't think Joe Ingles was ready for that. I don't think any of us were ready for that. And Joe Ingles, once he saw it, he was gonna commit for the foul to stop the score in the fast break. But once Daveon got in the air, he realized too late, and he was trying to get out of his way because he didn't want to. He didn't even want to try to take the charge. He was just gonna be like, "Oh, I'll let that go." But he didn't get out of the way quick enough. Mixed with Daveon being so damn quick, he got up off the ground so quick, and Joe Ingles ended up clipping him and undercutting him. Daveon took a really hard fall. Joe Ingles immediately went over to him, immediately stuck his hand, was trying to help him up. Everybody pretty much understood that he was not trying to intentionally do that. No one got in Joe Ingles' face, and Kings were swarming around Daveon, pick him up. Daveon, kind of banged up his wrist a little bit, rolled over, got up. Joe Ingles was there the whole time, hey man, that's not what I intended to happen. And Daveon, was acknowledged, nah, it's good. And I mean, even while they were reviewing the play, because they were going to review it for a flagrant foul. And even during that, Joe Ingles went back over to Daveon. I was like, hey man, again, are you okay? Are you good? I didn't mean for that to happen like that. They dapped up. It was cool. The refs came back and said it was a flagrant. I said it was probably going to be a flagrant too. Just because, it's just how awkward he was, and just kind of the way that Joe Ingles was there, and it wasn't a malicious thing, but I like that. Basically, it was a flagrant 2. That's what I thought. So refs came back, called it a flagrant 2. That's 2 shots, and we get the ball back. And I guess people kind of forgot, maybe it's early season, but flagrant 2 also means ejection. So after Daveon took his free throws, Joe Ingles got ejected. So Joe Ingles was out of there. So the Jazz only had Joe Ingles for 5 minutes, and then that was it. So that was one of the big things that happened, and I was immediately we have to use this opportunity to turn the tide of the game. We have to. So that was one opportunity that we got. The other opportunity, or the other thing that I wanted to talk about, was De'Aaron Fox. I'm very happy to see Fox confidently shoot his threes, and I've seen Fox shoot in practice or just at the Kings Arena, for his YouTube video content, whatever. And his stroke is smooth. He multiple shots in a row, just netting it. It's all there. But Fox has not been shooting the 3 good for the season. It looks good when it goes in, but I still just feel like his form when he shoots, it doesn't have enough arc. When he puts arc on his shot, it's better. But he kind of I'm doing it left-handed, but he kind of releases from right here instead of a more, basically instead of extending your elbow more, kind of straightening out your arm. If you watch Fox shoot, he kind of still leaves, an angle in his arm. And I feel like it's basically just not getting, the additional arc of having it all the way up, because you're stopping it here. So that's more of a flat shot. You know what I mean? Even if you raise it up, it's still a flat shot. You need that, you see the good shooters, I'm talking about the most preppy, almost like a Klay Thompson type shot, or those bigs that work on the most basic shot with no swag. It's you know what I mean? That arm is still, it's still out there. And Fox, his thing is it's there's still just that angle. So I think that's the biggest thing with a shot. I think he literally just needs to straighten out his arm when he shoots. That's it. I think if Fox just straightens his arm and just a full follow through, I think that thing is good. Who knows how it, because his form is good, and he gets up off the ground. His rise up, he's lining himself up with the cup and everything. He's doing everything right except for the second to last thing, because you got to extend your arm, and then you got to put your hand in the cookie jar. You got to put your hand in the cup. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to So that it's literally just the second to last thing that he needs to do. And I think Fox's shot is set. But right now he's shooting it really, really bad. I'm curious what he's at for the season. Hell, let's check. So for the season so far, 15%. 15%. It's just 2 games, but In 2 games, he's shooting 15% from three. Like, immediately what that tells me after 2 games, that's the indicator. That does not tell me, hey, Fox, don't shoot no more. But what it does tell me is, hey, Fox, let's, like, only shoot wide open shots. No more pull-up jumpers from behind the three. His jumper, from within, especially like around the elbow, basically within the arc, is pretty wet. But it's just that three-point shot. It's like, Fox, hey, only shoot those wide open for right now. Or if they give you hella space if they're backed off of, if we're in the half court. But don't shoot no transition threes, and you basically, and don't shoot no pull-ups. I don't want to see you shoot step back threes. None of that. Just shoot wide open threes, and that's pretty much that. Until he gets better and works his way up. But I'm all about like setting screens from him and letting him penetrate, and like if he wants to rise up off the elbow, just to get that going. But basically for Fox, we should be working inside out. Like, he knows he can get to the cup. Like, let's get Fox to the cup early. Let's get him drawing some contact, before guys are really ready. Before it's really time. Before we're really into the game. Get them in foul trouble early. Get us in the bonus early, you know what I'm saying, and getting to the line. And also, that's just Fox was I think he was the top guard at finishing percentage or finishing around the rim. So let's eat where he's comfortable at, and let's not keep forcing this free three thing. I felt like he did the same thing at the start of last season. I think he was just trying to prove, not just to everybody else, but to himself, that he could shoot threes. But it's just like, bro, we don't need you. We don't need you to prove that. We just need you to play to your strengths so we can win. Like, trust me, we got enough shoot between Harrison Barnes, Buddy Hield, Terence Davis, Tyrese Halliburton. Like, we got enough three-point shoot. I mean, shoot, I'm leaving people out. Chimezie Metu can shoot threes. Like, we got people that can shoot threes. Daveon Mitchell could shoot threes. But, like, you don't need to do that right now. Like, unless they're open. Anyway, that was just a point of emphasis that I kind of wanted to point out. I do want to go to Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton I really appreciated his play this game. We wanted him to be more aggressive coming into the season. He was not that in the first game against the Blazers, but he did move the ball around. He was a very decent ball handler. So that helped us. He is like the grease to the gears of the offense. Even when he's not aggressive, what he will do is he will do a little probing, see what he can find, back out or pass the ball, or he will keep the ball swinging. Like in a way, I wish we had one more Tyrese Halliburton who would just swing the ball just to keep the defense moving side to side, because that's what's going to present an opportunity for us to finally score. So anyhow, but this game he was more aggressive. So in the last game, you could take a look against Toronto right there. He had Portland. He had 2 points. It was 1 of 5 from the field. He only shot 5 shots. In this game, you can see at 15 points, he shot 7 more shots, and which is funny because he made a total of 7 shots out of 12, and that's very efficient. He only missed 5 shots, so he was over 50% from the field. Now, he missed his 2 3-pointers, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with him missing his 2 3-pointers. Matter of fact, as of right now, he hasn't made a 3-pointer all year. He is 0%. But last season, he ended at 41% from 3, and he was shooting. Eventually, he got to the point where he was shooting 5 of them per game. He was 85% from the free throw line. So we want him to be aggressive. And also, what I liked about Tyrese Halliburton is that he was also going to the rim. He was he punched a dunk home on a fast break. He had a very aggressive take against Bojan. I think it was Bojan Bogdanovic. On a fast break, and I was just like, whoa, okay, he's being very, very aggressive, and look what it did for us. Like, it opened things up for everyone else. So I just really appreciated Tyrese Halliburton, being more aggressive in this game. it did really help us. He was a part. When he was playing like that, that was when we had the momentum and we were staying ahead, like neck and neck and ahead of the Jazz. And of course, us not being a veteran team, we went into the locker room, we cooled off, we came back out in the third quarter, and almost nobody came out with that same energy except for Daveon Mitchell. So let's talk about Daveon Mitchell for a second. Daveon Mitchell only had 3 points this game. Daveon Mitchell only had 2 points last game. But what he's doing on defense, oh my God, there was a stretch of about 2 minutes where the Kings played some of their best defense as a team I've seen them play in the last 4 seasons. I mean, like, Fox got back to shuffling his feet and bumping and moving again and all of that. Like, because I'll tell you something about Fox. One of the reasons why Fox is one of the worst defenders at the perimeter right now is because if he sees a screen coming, he will just back off and like he will do a switch, not where he calls it out and they both stay tight on their man and then they pull away tight on their man. He will just back off to not even take any kind of contact. He won't even, front the big. He won't, nothing. Like, he will make no contact with the big, like no arm in there, just no like get close, like nothing to, no feints, nothing. And what happens is he doesn't communicate that with the other big or the other man. So they end up taking the switch late and it will just leave a big gap at the very least of time or thinking where they have to like basically acknowledge like, okay, well, Fox is faded back. Oh, I got to take this guy. And by that time, there's already a 3-point up. And since it's the Jazz, it's Mike Conley or it's Bojan Bogdanovic but in this particular case, especially Mike Conley, Royce O'Neal, and Donovan Mitchell. And they were just draining wide, not wide open threes, but basically heavily like uncontested threes, basically, which for an NBA player might as well be wide open. So Fox has been selling us out on that really, 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 really bad. It's been terrible. And I haven't seen or heard anybody talk about that. And I saw it a little bit last year. That's when I started to notice it. But this year it's been apparent. And I was thinking, De'Aaron Fox, like, is long and athletic. Like, how is he so bad on perimeter defense? How is he getting beat so much? I was like, oh, maybe he's just a little weak. Dude, he is buffered now. But what it is he will not make contact and he will not communicate early. And the thing that I hate the most is he will not fight through screens. He will not fight through screens. He will just go over it and completely avoid contact from the pick. So that way he's in jail. He puts himself in jail, basically. Or he'll just do that thing where he just backs off completely and just switches without really letting this guy know, the switch guy know earlier. So Fox has been notoriously bad at that. Or he'll go under screens. He'll just know better, but he'll just go under screens. Anything to avoid contact. And I get it because I've seen him get, he banged up his shoulder really bad, running into a screen a few seasons ago. Y'all remember that when he had to wear the shoulder pad and all that stuff? And I've seen him get banged up on other stuff. So I get it. Like, that's why those big set hard screens, because eventually they want, like, one, they want to make contact with you so their guy has a little bit of space to work with. And now the defense has to make a decision. But two, they want to get you good so that way you don't never even go through that. You don't even want to make contact anymore. And then they really got options at that point. You take yourself out of the defense. And here we come to Daveon Mitchell. So Daveon Mitchell was playing incredible defense majority of the game. And he was locking Donovan Mitchell up. Like, Donovan Mitchell went one-on-one with his cousin and was like, oh, hell no. I mean, there was literally a play where Daveon Mitchell, like, guarded him all the way down, and Donovan thought he was going to get into the paint and do something fancy, and Daveon ended up locking the ball with him, and Daveon just ripped it from him and just took off down the court. So they knew that they had to call for screens on him. So Whiteside was in, and Whiteside went up for a screen, and he just laid into Daveon and laid Daveon out. And Of course, Kings, everybody, want a foul call. Nothing happened. But what I noticed is the whistle immediately after that play was all said and done and they went into a huddle. Daveon Mitchell went and grabbed Hassan Whiteside and I saw him chew him out. He's probably saying, hey, watch that in general, but hey, that's my blood over there, bro. Like, hey, don't be doing too much. I gotta go to the cookout still. You know what I'm saying? I gotta see my auntie still or my uncle still. You know what I mean? Like he just got in the league, man. Like, this is money for our family. Don't be playing around like that. So he got into Whiteside bad and shoot him out. Like, run the game back and like watch after that play. Watch Daveon Mitchell when the Jazz go. I noticed that. I was like, ooh. Again, those are those things that you're probably only going to get at the Sacktown Breakdown. You hear a lot of people talking about that. So, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Anyway, Daveon was really, really solid on defense, especially on ball. And that's what he's known for. That's his calling card. And it inspired the rest of the team. Like, it got us some fast break points and inspired the rest of the team. So that, like, minute or 2 minutes of when we were playing all-team defense, Fox wasn't letting people get by him again and was fighting through things. And, I saw everybody on there. Terence Davis, getting Aggie. Harrison Barnes, who always, he plays the most consistent defense on our team. But even Harrison Barnes was up there, like, getting into it and getting fired up and whatnot. He had an and one dunk on Rudy Gobert where he just bossed him winning. And you never see Harrison, but like, you rarely see Harrison Barnes get up in arms like that. So, the energy that Daveon Mitchell brings to our team that people were talking about, we're seeing it already. We've seen it a little bit in the preseason, but in the first 2 seasons of the game where it counts, it was great to see. Marvin Bagley came in, 10 minutes, 2 points. He would have had 4, but he had an and one putback, or not an and one putback. He had a putback dunk that he had gotten, but he went to swim around Mike Conley, and Mike Conley fell. He sold it, and they called foul on him. And it was a nasty putback. It was like one of those bags putback dunks. There's super athletic, So it sucks. But anyway. So yeah, that was that. But he came in. He played with energy. He had 4 rebounds. He was on the glass. He had 1 turnover that I really wish he didn't have, because he made a really good defensive play, and then he made a good offensive decision. But right at the last minute, when he should have just went up because he was on a smaller guy, he looked to pitch the ball away at the last second, and I think it was Bojan Bogdanovic that had picked it off and just ran down court on the other end. Anybody else outstanding to talk about? Terence Davis started. TD came in with a lot of tenacity, but he was just getting. He got 2 ridiculous fouls called on him, and then he got 3 actual fouls called on him. One of them was very, very obvious, but it was after he fouled Mike Conley once, and it wasn't really a foul, and then they called a foul on him again, like less than 30 seconds later. And it was an actual foul that time. But by that time, everybody was just frustrated. But he came in. He was playing gutsy. He didn't make none of his threes, but he was playing inspired defense. I want to say, yeah, he had a steal. I was about to say, I think he made a defensive play. Overall, I like the energy that I got from TD, even though the results probably don't look all that great. Richaun Holmes was playing solid. We could give some credit to Rudy Gobert if we want to, I guess. But honestly, it was really the fouls that kind of made Richaun Holmes a little less effective in this game. He still finished with 10 rebounds, but he fouled out of the game. He had 3 blocks too. But it's just some fouls that were not on him or that didn't go his way. He had a clean block on Rudy Gobert that they call foul on, and he was pissed. He went like walking, through the corridor towards the locker room, popping off, cursing, screaming. He was mad. We all felt that frustration. That's how we all felt at that moment, because they were. Fox. I literally watched Rudy Gobert just chop block Fox across his face, and it was no call. Literally was unnecessary unnecessary contact that was not a basketball play above the neck. In most cases, that's considered a flagrant 2. If they wanted to be nice to the Jazz, it would have been a flagrant 1. But I mean, they showed it in slow mo. He literally like chopped, because I thought Fox, like when Fox fell, he kind of fell kind of hard, and I thought he was trying to sell it because he didn't get the rebound. But then when they played it back in slow mo, I'm like, oh my god, no, this dude like literally came across his jaw. And Fox is just like, dang. And when he was doing it, like Rudy Gobert's hand was kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like in Fox's face, it was messed up, yo. Anyway, so that's how that went down. It was the refs. Refs do what they do to us, and it just is what it is. But that's why in practice they wouldn't call in fouls, because we can't expect to get them. And there was a little bit too much ref talk sometimes. One of the biggest critiques of the team is that after scoring a bucket, they don't immediately think about defense. It's kind of like a second to rest, and like transition back. And on these experienced teams, they're trying to get, they know that we're an inexperienced team and we don't have good winning habits. So they'll, just like the Blazers were, they like Jazz got, I'd say at least six buckets, or let's say 6 points total, just running hard back down at the end of the field, like after we scored, or after we missed, and they just pushed the ball. What I did like about the Kings is we were trying to play up tempo, and we were trying to push the pace more, push the ball down the court more. It's just that it's just the Jazz. Some of them are just kind of like lanky, like Daveon Mitchell got them long arms, and they just ended up picking off some of our passes, just clean picks. Like just suck the air right out of the room. So credit to them for that. I'm a big fan of Quinn Snyder, and I love how he continues to coach this team and the way that he has them playing. Other than that, man, Tristan Thompson came in for 4 minutes and, was just played tough. And it was good to see. He missed a few bunnies. He missed both of his bunnies. He was right there about the rim. One rimmed out, and the other one just really wasn't a good attempt. Alex Lindow came in and played 22 minutes, had 8 points, 4 rebounds. I love the energy that Alex Lynn brings to the team, and just him being just like a big body. He sets really good screens. He's always there for his teammates. He's always down there fighting, for the rebound, fighting for the ball. And for us, it makes a big difference. And he ended with 4 rebounds, so that's good. Last person I'll talk about is Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield came in, and this was one of the best games I've seen Buddy Hield play in the definitely all last season, but this season too, especially to start early on. Buddy was just doing everything. He was playing tenacious defense. I'm not gonna say he was playing good defense, but he was playing tenacious defense. He was actually actively playing hard. He was just hitting threes, stroking them things. Of course, he chucked a few. That's Buddy Love. Shooter's gonna shoot. Buddy gonna chuck though. But even still, like, he was just netting those things. He was using screens really, really well. Some of the best screen usage I've ever seen from Buddy, actually. Just creating just like that good L-shaped contact for him to just rise up in that box, you know what I mean? And they just can't get the arm there quick enough because Buddy's release is so quick, so fast. He had a few really deep threes, 3 to 5 feet behind the 3-point line. He had some timely buckets too when we really needed them, and just really, fired up the crowd. He even had a bunch of rebounds. He had 7 rebounds. Unfortunately, he did have 4 turnovers, and some of them were those Buddy Hield turnovers that we just hate, just like throwing away the ball, just like a bad pass back to Richaun Holmes as he's trying to run around the screen, and Richaun Holmes is like not ready for that at all. And honestly, like, there was a man in between the pass anyway, so it wasn't a bad pass, but he passed over through that man over Richaun Holmes, and then basically just to a Jazz player that was there. So, and then also just kind of getting bumped a little bit, and then letting his handle trail off, just like those Buddy Hield turnovers that we hate. But everything else about his game was to love. So ending the game with 24 points, again, 9 of 21 from the field, 6 of 15 from 3. Buddy Hield was attacking the rim. Did he get to the line? No, he didn't get to the line because he was converting. Yeah, he was picking good times to go, so there wasn't even a foul. Plus, people aren't used to Buddy Hield going at the rim. They're used to, if he gets in the paint, they're used to him pulling up. So they'll all hang back. So when they're expecting to have to go out to contest, but he blows by them and goes up, people are just caught off guard. So props to Buddy Hield for setting the tone early for this season with him and going to the rim so he can get to the free throw line, because he can easily add another 4 points per game to his, score and make himself that much more valuable by, everybody knows he's going to shoot. Just that, that pump fake and swing hard and go right past him. Not like pump fake and then dribble and start going like that. Pump fake and then swing out of triple threat. And then that'll be the thing that he can either rise up in the middle, he's going to knock that down, or if you beat the guy and it's kind of a 5-out situation, now Buddy Hield's going to the rim. Now you got them guessing. Most of the time they know you're going to shoot. If you call for a screen, they know they got to close out. Now you can call for a screen and you can keep them guessing. And I think he even did he have some assists? Yeah, I was about to say, I could have sworn that he had like a pick and roll assist, which to me, I'm like, oh my God, Buddy Hield, you're making plays? What's going on here? I love to see it. I'm a Buddy Hield fan. I love Buddy. So that's what we're looking at with this Kings game. Sorry I went so long. We're at the 35-minute mark, but I saw a lot of good things even though we lost. Ultimately, down the middle, what did us in was going cold, not swinging, some of the same things. Not moving the ball enough for majority of the game, especially in the third and fourth quarter when we're more tired. That's when we got to move the ball more. You trying to ISO people in the third and fourth quarter when you're already tired, it's going to, for the most part, be bad shots. So you got to start swinging the ball early, so by the time you get to the second half, you're swinging that ball around more, and you're using less energy to score points, which will get you better shots, which will get you more efficient scoring. So there was a lack of that. Lineups for the most part we're good. I mean, we worked with what we had for the situation, and then ultimately, just turnovers down the end, just not protecting the ball enough, making smart enough decisions, and over everything, not being aggressive enough. A lot of second guessing. Just be certain. If you're going to take the three, just take the three and get ready to get back on defense. If you're going to go to the cup, just go to the cup. You know what I mean? And don't look for bailout passes so much. Just go straight up and, either try to make the bucket. Maybe you'll get the foul. But the more uncertain you are is when you do this. That's when you get the worst turnovers. If you're going to the cup, people have in their mind, okay, I'm either about to, crash the boards or get back on defense. But when you go to the cup and then you bail out pass, most of the time people aren't ready for that. And then when it's a turnover, people definitely aren't thinking about defense yet because they're still got an offensive mindset or that which one is it going to be mindset. And that kills us as an unexperienced team who is trying to learn winning habits. Not too many complaints about Luke Walton tonight. Honestly, call timeouts at the right time, try to call some plays. Some of the plays were a little questionable. Some of them were good and actually worked. Some of our drag pick and roll plays worked out pretty dope. And we had a really good one where we had the best ball movement of the game in the half court out of a timeout from Luke Walton. So I want to give him props for that, or whoever drew up that play from his coaching staff. That was exactly the type of play that we need where, it's like basically more than just two actions. If we can get two or more actions, three actions even, now our offense is starting to look like a professional offense instead of like only having two actions. Everybody else just sits and waits. And the defense, the whole defense isn't, having to shift, or at least 4 out of the 5 players aren't having to react. 3 out of the 5 players can just stay in one place and only 2 of the 5 players have to react. And that is the advantage to the defense. The less the defense has to do, the better the defense is already working. The more you make the defense do with actions, off-ball screens, movement, swinging the ball, pick and rolls with action and burst in them, that's when you get the defense going side to side, and that's when eventually you're going to get yourself a good opportunity to make or take a good shot. With all that said, it's your boy Skip, a.k.a. Skip Matosh. Again, the Kings fall to the Jazz, 101-110. I almost went to the game, but kind of glad that I didn't. Last time I went to the Jazz and Kings game last season, we lost by 49 points. So I think me not being there made it so we only lost by 9. So you're welcome, Kings Nation. Thanks for spending the time with me. We're almost at the 40-minute mark. Your time is appreciated. If you're listening to me via audio, I hope it's been a pleasure listening to me. If you're watching, sorry, you got to look at this, but hey, someone's got to come and do it. Shout out to my Sacramento Kings. I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing. And we'll be seeing you guys for the next game. Breaking down the next game on Saturday. Kings play the Warriors. Next time around, I'll make this a little shorter. I'll try to aim for around the 15-20 minute mark. And with the last bit of time, we will go over for game predictions for the next game. But I'm just going to tell you right now, it's going to be ugly because Steph Curry is already a monster, already a demon right now. And Toscano Anderson, Jordan Poole, Draymond, Belly, all those guys, they are playing over there right now. They're playing winning basketball. So get ready for a tough one, Kings fans, but it should be a good one. A very exciting game with two exciting teams, with two exciting play styles. I'll check y'all out later. I'm Skip. Peace.